All right, Tiff. All right, Tiff.
His phone? Well, who's getting his phone? I don't know.
All right. Thanks everyone for coming out tonight. Appreciate it. You can make it. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to talk about some of the firearm safety rules. This right here is an M4 carbine rifle, commonly referred to as an AR-15. So I'm going to go over some of the basic firearm safety rules, and then we're going to show you how to disassemble it and then reassemble it. So in today's day and age, there's a lot of talk about gun safety, and people who own guns, so I think it's important that we know how to disassemble them and reassemble them so that we can operate them efficiently and also keep up on the maintenance. Now, to introduce myself, my name is Robert Brinton. I'm a law enforcement officer. I've been in law enforcement for about 7 years, so quite a while. I've dealt with guns. I've been in the military. I've been deployed, so I've had quite the experience with weapons such as this. So to start off, 4 basic firearm rules. The number 1 rule is always treat a gun as if it is loaded. Okay, even we know that it's not loaded right now. As you can see, there's no magazine in there. Nothing here in the chamber, but you always want to treat a gun if it's loaded. Number 2 is you never want to fire at anything unless you're willing to kill it or shoot at it. Okay, these are common safety practices. Number 3 is you never pull that trigger unless you're ready to fire. You want to make sure that you're ready to fire that weapon. And the last one is you want to be aware of your backstop. What's behind you? In case you miss, you don't want that bullet to travel forever and hit something that it doesn't want to, it shouldn't hit. So these are the 4 common basic firearm rules. If you go onto the NRA website, the National Rifle Association, these rules will be on there. As long as any other gun associate or advocate, those rules will be on there. To start off, I'm going to disassemble this weapon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these pins out. The weapon is obviously on safe. You want to make sure it's on safe and that the bolt is forward. Once those pins are out, this is the lower receiver. The lower receiver comes off. This is the upper receiver. They're 2 separate parts of the weapon. In here, there's a buffer spring and a buffer tube. That helps for the recoil when you fire. You don't need to necessarily take that out at this point. From there, you want to take this charging handle, pull it out, and pull out the whole bolt. That's the bolt of the weapon. Okay? And then this is the charging handle. The charging handle also comes out of the weapon. As of now, the upper receiver is completely disassembled. You don't need to do anything else with this upper receiver or the lower receiver. There's some more components that are inside the bolt here. Okay? We got the firing pin. What you want to do to get that firing pin out is you want to take out this retention pin. It's a small pin. You pull that out, and then out comes the firing pin. Okay? That's the firing pin of the weapon. That's what will hit the bullet and make it go. So that pulls out as well. After that point, you turn this little bolt. Sometimes it's hard because there's a little bit of oil on the gun. It's a little slippery. That comes out, and that comes out as well. At this point, the weapon is fully disassembled, okay? So, the reason why we disassemble weapons is obviously for cleaning. When you fire a gun, a lot of carbon, a lot of buildup gets on that. So you can go and you can clean this stuff, clean it out, make it all spick and span, and help that weapon maintain its proficiency. Obviously, to be able to use a weapon, we can't use it like this. We got to be able to put it back together. So let's talk about reassembling the weapon. Pretty self-explanatory, but the way you reassemble the weapon is the same way you took it apart. Am I right? So you take the bolt, put it back in. You got to make sure it lines up with the hole that matches the little groove right here. You take the cam pin, put that in there to line it up. It's kind of tricky sometimes, and then you'll turn it so it doesn't fall out, and then you check it and give it a little swing like that, and it pops out. So we know that it's seated in there properly. Take the firing pin, and you kind of got to wiggle it down in here. There's a little hole in here that it'll slide right into. You got to make sure that's extended, and it slides right in there. So it seats in there, it's in there. Then you can take the retaining pin, put it back in its slot. Got to make sure that that fits in there properly. Sometimes you just got to mess with it. so that it locks that firing pin in place. Doesn't quite want to work with me right now. Usually happens when you're in front of people. There we go. Got the seat in there, and you can check it by the same thing, just giving it a little whack, and that'll bolt will extend. So that's all for that. It's ready to rock and roll. You want to take the bolt. First of all, you want to take the charging handle. That's the charging handle. You want to sit it back inside the upper receiver. Leave it extended a little bit. You want to take the bolt. You want to make sure that's extended. You want to slide it in there. Make sure it fits in the groove of the charging handle. Slap it in there, and it's ready to rock and roll just like that. Then you can take that. You take the lower receiver. You line it up with the grooves, slap it on there. Make sure they get this the sling all adjusted right. Put it in there. It's going to line up with the grooves to where you can push these pins in. And the pins are in, and now your weapon is fully assembled. You can check, make sure, back that charging handle. Everything feels smooth, nice, ready to roll. You can also flip the weapon to fire. You can charge it. You can lock the bolt to the rear so that it's open. Slap the bolt forward, and you can also pull the trigger. You're going to hear a click. So that way means the weapon's ready to go. It's going to be functioning properly if you put a magazine and a bullet in there. Back to back, flip it onto safe, weapon's ready to roll. Okay? So we talked about the 4 firearm safety rules, why those are important, especially if you're going to own a firearm. And then we talked about how to disassemble and reassemble the M4 carbine rifle, like I said, commonly referred to as an AR-15 type of rifle. So these are important, especially if you're going to own a weapon. A lot of people own weapons these days, especially weapons such as these. With that, my presentation is concluded, and if you have any questions, you can speak to me after. Thank you.